And it's a pleasure to introduce to the microphone champion trainer Chris Waller. Chris, good morning to you.
Good morning, Ross.
You are, of course, you're a Sydney-based trainer, but you must love coming to our glorious city. Look at the weather we turn on for you.
It's a beautiful morning and it's a great atmosphere, and what better place to be preparing the horses for the Sporting Bet Cox Plate.
You've got four potential runners in the Cox Plate. How many of the four will get in, do you think?
Three. We've decided to leave one until next week. That'll be He's Your Man. He's the Ipsen winner. And we'll wait for the McKinnon for him on Derby Day, and the other three will run.
Wow. Well, that gives you a fair hand in the race. You've never won a Cox Plate?
Haven't won a Cox Plate, Caulfield Cup or a Melbourne Cup. So we're a little bit dry in Melbourne, but that's the next stage of our plan, just to be a little bit more, or be a force to be reckoned with down here.
Remember talking to Lee Friedman a few years ago and asking him what race that he would really dream of training the winner of, and he said the Arc de Triomphe in Paris. I guess you've got a few to tick off the list before then. Have you got any overseas ambitions?
Not really. I think Australia, the majors are what we have to get on the board first, and then you can look elsewhere, because it's a big drain to be sending your better horses away from Australia. The Cox Plate, the Melbourne Cup, the Caulfield Cup, they're the races you need to win, and the Sporting Bet Cox Plate is the race to win, because that's the best weight for age horse in Australia. It's like the weight for age boxer. Sure, they can win the Olympics, they can win the pro or the amateur fights, but at that weight scale, everybody's carrying the same weight. It is the best horse that wins the race.
Okay, so which of your three worked best this morning?
Well, I'd say Sacred Falls. He was the sharpest, and that's the way we made him work. He sat behind the stablemate Ford Teller and had something to follow, and that's how horses like to work, and then pick them up on the line. And he picked him up stylishly, and he's a two-time Doncaster winner. He ran second on Cox Plate last year, so he's raced around the track. He's basically ticked all the boxes except one over the distance. But what I think was his best run was the Queen Elizabeth, the $4 million Queen Elizabeth that we had at the championships this year in Sydney. He ran second from coming from a near impossible position. So I think that was good enough a run to say he could win the Sporting Bet Cox Plate.
Did you say that if there are two horses working together at track work, that the preference would be to be the second?
Well, we let them trail, and then they pick them up on the line. They think they've had a bit of a kill. They think they've won. They're very competitive animals, and he's a colt, and he's actually quite a timid colt. So we need to be constantly boosting his confidence, and just that little gallop this morning was enough just to help stimulate him.
Now, it was explained to me, being totally ignorant of horse racing earlier, the difference between weight for age and handicap, right? Now, in a weight for age race, the best horse will win. What's the best horse running around in the Cox Plate?
Well, it's a tough question.
But that means the bookies have been murdered.
Well, Faulkner would be a good chance.
Well, just the recent form is important. So Faulkner winning the Caulfield Stakes is like winning the semi-final, leading up into the grand final. So I guess you've got to look at that form, and then you've got horses like Adelaide coming from overseas, and then you've got the youngsters, the 3-year-olds. Weight for age, they carry a lot less weight, and that's a big handicap in terms of performance. So that's what makes the Sporting Bet Cox Plate so good. It's just a very open race, and who knows, it's a horse race, anything can win.
Chris, what's the best excuse you've ever given an owner? We asked David Hayes earlier what was the best excuse he ever gave an owner, and he said the horse was trained to the minute, but they started late. So I guess with your record, you don't have to give many excuses.
There's a huge... there was one the other day, but I can't quite think of it. But, gee, give me a few seconds and a few will come to my mind. But you name it, there's a book full of them, and it's still getting bigger.
Hey, you come from New Zealand originally. Why did you choose Sydney?
I came over here as a strapper, 18 years old, and it opened my eyes up in life. It was as simple as that, and got the opportunity to bring a horse here for my boss, and used to see the Tommy Smiths, the Bart Cummings, the John Hawkeses, and I just thought it was amazing. And I remember riding work one day with Mick Dittman, and I thought, gee, I've made it.
Yeah.
Just riding a track gallop with him, and that put me on a high for years. And
the great Queensland jockey?
Yeah, and I just think that taste of coming here as a strapper, I thought, well, gee, it was a great place. And when I started training, I brought a horse over here, and it was just wouldn't say a comedy, but a lot of small steps of small things that worked in my favour.
You've had phenomenal success being the leading trainer in Sydney. Is there a finite number of animals that you can train? By which I know, that you've got that question of you want to be hands-on, but at the same stage you know you've got to learn to delegate. Is there a finite number?
I think there is. We're close to it now, realistically. We've got good systems in place where we use 20 horses and one foreperson to control those horses and those group of that team of staff. So that works well, and then you just need to fine-tune the management side of it. But, there's an old saying, one man can train 100 horses, two people can't train one horse.
We're very grateful for your time. You've led us to Sacred Falls in the Sporting Bet Cox Plate. There are other races on Saturday. Got anything going around in one of those that we ought to be interested in?
Yeah, I like a horse called Opinion, who's racing in the Moonee Valley Cup over 2,500 metres, and hopefully that'll not only secure him a start in the Melbourne Cup, but prove he's good enough to be running in the Melbourne Cup. And also Bull Point, he's running in the Crystal Mines.
Opinion and Bull Point. Good man. Chris, thanks for talking to us. The phenomenally successful trader, Chris Waller, who also has stables here in Melbourne.